Okay guys, great performance there to get into this third qualifying round. It's a little bit of a Nordic Derby here. We're taking on a good opposition and Hammarby. Okay, so just keep our form going and let's make the playoff again. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 85 of Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and coming up in today's episode we have the third qualifying round for the Champions League taking on Hammarby of Sweden in a bit of a Nordic Derby. So if you are looking forward to today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But we come into this one off the back of a good win against Molfeheva of Hungary in the second qualifying round. If you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. But we've only played the one game since then domestically. It was in the league, and we did pick up a 3-1 win away at Fjellkær. We did concede a goal in the 34th minute, but we're 2-0 up by then thanks to an early penalty to Corbo, and a goal not too long after that to Fredrik Larsson. Got another one early in the second half there to Kevin Malsi Martins, and that does mean we still hold a very comfortable lead in the league by 10 points with a game in hand still over HK, with Breidablik, Fjellkær, Keflavik and Valareykjavik all fighting it out for the remaining European spots in behind us at the moment, but still in a very, very strong position to be winning our 6th straight league title here in Iceland. But our focus today is on the third qualifying round of the Champions League. We are taking on Hammarby of Sweden. They are a team who are usually there or thereabouts towards the playoff end of Champions League qualifying. So this is going to be a really interesting matchup. A three-star reputation club again, just like yesterday against Hungary's Molfeheva. Not too many familiar names in their squad, but they will be a decent team. Hopefully we can get the better of these guys after they did defeat Maccabi Tel Aviv fairly comfortably, 3-0 on aggregate in the second qualifying round. The other thing that we need to keep an eye out on in this round is that we have had our draw for the playoff. Should we get past Hammarby today, and it could be a doozy because we are taking on the winner of the tie between Astana or Midtjylland. We have a bit of history with Midtjylland. You would expect them to be the team who does win that tie. It could be yet another Nordic Derby, and they did finish above us in the Europa League group a few seasons ago, a really good Europa League group where they were second behind Atletico Madrid. We finished third, and Lazio of all teams finished fourth. So they are a team who might just have the slight wood over us potentially, but hopefully we can get a result against those guys if we do make it through to the Champions League playoff and do have to play those guys in tomorrow's episode. That should be a very interesting tie. Certainly could have got a kind of draw for that playoff, but we will see what happens if we do get past Hammarby in today's episode. No major injury concerns going into this one. A slight niggle to our backup goalkeeper, but Sarah Fellaini is okay, so that does not impact us either in our starting 11 or on the bench. So more or less at full strength for this one. We'll come back shortly for the first leg from the Laugardalsvöllur of this third qualifying round for the Champions League. And here are the team sheets for this first leg. As we mentioned before, we are at full strength, our perfect first 11, and the bench as strong as it could be as well. Looking quickly at Hammarby on the right-hand side, as I said before, no familiar names there. They do have someone who's innocent as well as a Dickman on the bench, but no real familiar names there. Hopefully, we can pick up a good result and make our way through yet again to the Champions League playoff. And an early highlight in this one is a throw-in inside the final third for Hammarby. They are in the white with the green shorts, but Prisco deals with that ball towards the far post fairly safely. Absolutely no one there for our Swedish opposition. That is a good slide tackle there though, and they do get the ball back here to Hammarby, but give it straight back to us there, and Chaka Traore plays it in field, and we try and get something going here nice and early. So far, not a shot from either team inside the first 5 minutes of this game. We'll see if that changes shortly, and we can grab the early advantage here at home, playing the home leg first for the first time in Champions League qualifying so far this season. And Prisco plays us up to Porstein Arnason, given a lot of space, takes his time, picks out Caviglia out to Ian Carlo, Lots of space there down the right-hand side. Patrick Nygaard from a tight angle, and he does beat the goalkeeper. And after 5 minutes, that is a great start for us there. We do go 1-0 up, and looking down behind my face, Astana are beating Midtjylland early. So that is a very nice surprise. So this is going quite well nicely after 5 minutes, 1-0 Völsungur against Hammarby. Only a few minutes later, we do have our next highlight. 8 minutes gone. It was cleared there by the Hammarby goalkeeper, but we do win the header and get inside their half briefly. Galtason plays it back to De Plisco, and Benjamin Rubio drops back nicely. We are on the attack again. Chaka Traore in behind. Great chance there, but misses the target. Looking good early, but still only 1-0 up. And up to the 14-minute mark, we do have a free kick here for Hammarby. A score update in terms of our potential playoff opponent. It is now 2-0 to Astana. They try and play another ball there into the mixer, do Hammarby, but their striker is nowhere to be seen. So we don't mind this at the moment because they have no one there to threaten us, despite their good play down the wings. And we do get possession back and steadily make our way into the opposition half. Chaka Traore plays that back for Alejandro Meza. He gets it back now, plays it in there for Anason. Can we double our lead here inside the first 15 minutes of this tie in the home league? Patrick Nygaard just holds things up here, plays a nice ball there for Chaka Traore. The goalkeeper does a really awful attempt there at a save, and this is a brilliant start for us here against decent Swedish opposition. 2-0 Völsungur after 15 minutes. Patrick Nygaard just stops on the ball. His man goes beyond him, does not pick him up, and Chaka Traore there with a decent header at the near post. Not great from their goalkeeper. 2-0 up. Quarter of an hour through the first league. And only a few minutes later, we are back in possession, albeit not for long, as Hammarby do get the ball back here. We nearly get an interception there from one of our defenders, but they get this back out to the left wing. It's a header there at the far post. This time, Luna does get on the end of it, forces a good save out of Serafalini, but still 2-0 Völsungur. And up to the 23-minute mark here, so lots of action early in this first half, and it is a throw-in for Hammarby as they try and continue to get themselves back in this game. Luna plays the ball the far post. Patrick Nygaard will clear it, but only out to one of the Hammarby defenders, and they get straight back on the attack here. Luna, who nearly got one past Serafalini before from that far post, plays it in there for Ali. Back for Luna, tries to play a ball here towards the far post on the left-hand side. It's a shot there, and then Luna with an open goal misses the header. So a few good chances there for Hammarby to get back into this one, but it is still 2-0 approaching the half-hour mark. And that is half-time in the first leg of this third round Champions League qualifier. We do hold a 2-0 lead. Hammarby coming back very strongly after going behind 2-0. In the end, having more shots and more on target than we did in that first half, but still fairly happy with how things are going. Hopefully, we can kick on here, potentially put this tie beyond doubt, but fairly happy taking a 2-0 lead into the second half of the home league. And a very early highlight here in the second half. Hammarby tried to clear their lines, but only get it out to Thiago Paulo on the halfway line. And Anason here takes his time on the ball. Good short pass and great chance here for Traore. Puts it wide. Yet again, very similar chance to the one that he had in the first half. And it does remain 2-0 Völsungur for now, albeit there is a free kick coming up for us here as Midtjylland get a goal back against Astana. Rubio tries to curve this top left corner, just goes high and wide. And it's still 2-0 at the 50-minute mark. Only a few minutes later, we do have a throw-in here inside the final third, albeit Alejandro Meza can't pick out a teammate, but the header does fall back at his feet, and he tries to get inside the box here. Can he square this for an opponent? Goes down, no penalty, and there is a chance here for Hammarby to get something going on the counter-attack. Ali making his way down the right-hand side. Some great work there by Chaka Traore for us to get possession back, and we'll see if we can get another chance here early in the second half. Fairly happy with how we've responded to Hammarby's good finish to the first half, and still holding that 2-0 lead that we did take into half-time. Chaka Traore makes his way forward. Good chance here for Rubio. Opens his body up, slots that away in the bottom right corner. That is his 25th goal of the season, and we are now in a great position, just about 2/3 of the way through this first leg. Chaka Traore, after getting the ball back for us earlier in that play, slots through Rubio. Nice finish. 3-0 Völsungur, just shy of the hour mark. And just past the hour mark, we do have a free kick here for Hammarby. They do get a header off there, comes off the crossbar, goes out for a goal kick. Good chance for them yet again to get on the scoreboard, but it does remain 3-0 coming up towards the 70-minute mark, and we are going to make our first substitution of this game here. Maurizio Goffi can come on for Brynjar Galtason. He has a yellow card, so we just want to make sure he does not get suspended, and he is also quite injury prone at the moment, but we'll make that first change. Still very happy with how this is going. 3-0 up with just over 20 minutes left. And 10 minutes later, we are going to make the last of our substitutions. We brought Fredrik Larsson on for a tired Chaka Traore not that long ago, and now Patrick Nygaard also on a red heart. So Zimmerman can come on for him. All subs used, just over 10 minutes left. Still 3-0 up. And up to the 86-minute mark here, we do have a free kick late as Midtjylland do get an equaliser in Kazakhstan. Benjamin Rubio with the free kick forces a good save there out of the Hammarby goalkeeper. Then Arnason with a chance on a tight angle, but it is forcing another save there out of the Hammarby goalkeeper. And it might be 3-0 going into the away leg unless something happens here in injury time. And it might be in Hammarby's favour. A goal here would get them potentially back into this tie with the second leg being at their home ground, but a good interception there from Thiago Polo. And can we get something going here on the counter-attack as we try and get something here down the right-hand side, but they just press us a little bit, so we can't get too much going at the moment between Ian Carlo and Zimmerman, the man that we did buy in the most recent transfer window from PSG, but we now do switch it out to our left-hand side. Rubio, he tries to get on the end of that. They win the ball back briefly there through a header, but we do get it back shortly afterwards. Ian Carlo up to Zimmerman, starts to make his way through the defence, back for Arnason, plays that back out for Zimmerman. What can he do here from the edge of the box? Nicolucci plays this in for Rubio. It falls to Arnason, puts it in the right-hand corner. Not too sure if that might have been a penalty against Rubio anyway for that tackle on him, but it doesn't matter because poor Stein Arnason slots that away in the right corner, and we might be taking a nice 4-0 lead into the away leg. I think in the end that was actually quite a safe tackle on Benjamin Rubio, but poor Stein Arnason with a nice finish there into the right-hand corner. And despite this game being fairly even stats-wise in the end, we slightly edged things about an extra third there over Hammarby stats-wise, but we pick up a very comfortable 4-0 win, which when you look at the stats would not be expected at all. And that is a very nice result here in the home league to take to Sweden. And that should be hopefully enough to see us make our way through to the Champions League playoff against one of Astana and Midtjylland. That scoreline was all tied up when we did just have a look before. We'll get to the post-match, which we don't have any of in the end. Midtjylland with a couple of late goals there, so they actually take a very strong advantage into their home league, but not quite as strong as us to the away leg, in a great position off the back of that 4-0 win in the first leg. And just cutting in before we do get into that second leg, because we have played a very interesting game in between the ones in today's episode. It was the Mulkabikeren quarter-final against HK. It was played at our home ground, but unfortunately we got off to a pretty interesting start in this one. This is the main reason that we are coming back to show you guys this. Michel Serafellini with an absolute shocker to let HK open the scoring there on the 12-minute mark. The goalkeeper getting a rather undeserved assist there, but that is thanks to our goalkeeper. Luckily, only 10 minutes later, Melcy Martins did grab us an equaliser, but it did take another 100 minutes until we did get the winning goal in this game, and it did come from some first-team impact off the bench. Chaka Traore there squares that for Benjamin Rubio in the 120th minute. We do get a goal just before that game would have gone to penalties, and do pick up a 2-1 win, thankfully, after Serafellini's absolute moment of madness there, nice and early on, which did give HK an advantage. So just thought I'd show you guys the highlights of that game, largely for that really bad error there from Serafellini, but we have no injury concerns going in to the second leg, and we'll come back shortly with that 4-0 advantage in Sweden. And we do have TV coverage for the second leg. Not sure exactly why, seeing as we do hold a 4-0 lead. Bit of interesting scheduling there from UEFA. There was the Hammarby lineup. We've been forced into just a few changes because of match load. So that does mean that we have Larsson at left wing and also Diaz in goal. Of course, he was injured, which is why Serafellini did start in that HK game. Also, Zimmerman did pick up a little niggle in training since that HK game. So Bjarkason on the bench as well, but in a good position here in the second leg, taking a 4-0 lead into it. And the first highlight does come here at the 4-minute mark. Larsson with a throw, and it does fall into the centre of the box. They do clear it, but Nicolucci Caviglia will take his sweet time, but will get possession back to us here inside Hammarby's half. Exactly the same uniforms as from that first leg, and hopefully we can put out a very similar performance here in Sweden. Larson there with an open header forces a decent save there out of Doven. It does remain 0-0 here after 5 minutes, still with that 4-goal advantage on aggregate, but the highlight does continue. There's an innocent man on the ball there in the midfield for Hammarby, but he plays that back to one of his teammates. They try and get something going here, but it's a good interception there from Fredrik Larsson. What can he do? Absolutely does his man there on the left-hand side, makes his way inside the box. Benjamin Rubio is onside. He will pick up his 27th goal of the season, and that is a perfect start here in the away leg. We are now 5-0 up on aggregate and 1-0 up on the day. Some lovely work there from Fredrik Larsson to get past his man Benjamin Rubio. Might be getting played onside there by the other centre-back, and we are in a great position now, 5 minutes into the second leg. And we do have a highlight straight from the restart after that goal from the early stages of this game. So maybe Hammarby will get on the score sheet for the first time in this tile. We could extend our lead to 6-0 on aggregate nice and early here into the second leg. Maybe we can match what we did last season when winning all of our games in Champions League qualifying. Hammarby are on the attack, and we might have spoken too soon there because Hernan Luna will put that in the back of the net. He missed a few good chances with his head in that first leg, and this time he makes the most of it. It was Robak there getting in behind Ian Carlo. He plays it back to a teammate. Luna there just given too much space at the far post, and it is now 1-1 after 6 minutes, but we are still up 5-1 on aggregate. And only a few minutes later, we do have a free kick, so yet again, lots of highlights in the early stages of a game between Völsungur and Hammarby. Great chance here for Benjamin Rubio, just puts it wide. Still 1-1, but 5-1 on aggregate. And we go all the way forward to the 31-minute mark for our next highlight, still with that 4-goal advantage that we did get from the first leg. Patrick Nygaard will play that out to Ian Carlo in a lot of space down the right-hand side. Tight angle. Can he finish like he did in the first leg? This time the Hammarby goalkeeper pulls out a decent save. We'll see what happens from the corner. Thiago Polo has been quite good from these recently. Can't get his head to it this time. Duplusco retreats to get possession back for us, and we are still 4 goals up here on aggregate. And up to the 36-minute mark here, we do have another highlight, a free kick inside Hammarby's half as we look to get an advantage on the day to take into halftime. As I said before, hopefully can continue what we did last season and win all of our Champions League qualifying games. Yet again, that would be quite helpful for the coefficient, albeit it might be tough. If we are going to take on Midtjylland in that playoff, that's a great chance there for Arnason to give us the lead. Midtjylland do go 1-0 up against Astana, so they are in a strong position to be our opposition in that playoff, but we are still 4 goals up on aggregate, only a few minutes shy of half-time. There's half-time in the second leg here in Sweden, 1-1 on the day, but still 4 goals up on aggregate. Fairly happy with how we are doing despite conceding that goal not too long after scoring ourselves, slightly edging things stats-wise as well. So hopefully we can get a winning goal here in the second half to take out not just the tie, but the second leg as well. We'll make no changes just yet. We'll go to a standard width of defence as well, just to see how that works out, but in a good position to be making our way through to that Champions League playoff. After the 58-minute mark, we have our first highlight here of the second half. It is a throw-in inside Hammarby's final third. The ball does return to Ian Carlo, and he starts to make his way infield, and we'll see if we can grab a winning goal on the day here, but we, as I said, should be in a good position to be making our way through to that Champions League playoff already, probably against Midtjylland, as they are now 4 goals up on aggregate, and Nicolusi Caviglia will get us 2-1 in front on the day. There's some good short passing from that throw-in after they did initially deal with it, did Hammarby, and in the end it is Alejandro Meza who will pick up the assist. Good short passing, as I said, just lofts one over there for Caviglia, who does find some space in that Hammarby defence, and we are 2-1 up with just over a half hour left. And we do have a highlight straight from the restart as Hammarby have made a substitution as they do try and pick up at least a draw here in their home league, but we are now in a very strong position, should be making our way through to that Champions League playoff. As I said, probably against Midtjylland, that would be a very interesting tie, and they force a good save there out of Diaz there, do Hammarby. Can we get something going on the counter-attack from that chance? No, we can't. Still 2-1 up on the day, 6-1 up on aggregate. After 62 minutes, and we are going to make our first substitution here, as you can see on screen. Galtason, 1 yellow card away from suspension. We will take him off, considering we should be in a good position to make our way through now. So Goffey, you come on for him with just under a half hour left. After the 77-minute mark, we're about to make our last substitution. We did bring on Chatsakis before for Caviglia. He can play DM, so we just switched things around there in the midfield, but Porstein Anason also on a red heart. That does mean we're going to have to change a few things around in terms of who would normally bring on, but I think we'll bring on Bjarkason there in the midfield and just switch our front three around to do for the rest of this game. Just make sure that midfield is nicely fresh, and considering they are on yellow cards and red hearts, quite tired and all that other stuff. But that's our last sub used. Got 13 minutes left to try and hold on to this lead on the day. And that is full time in this tie. Not much happening at all after we did grab that winning goal there in the second half through Nicolusi Caviglia, but we are fine with that considering we did take a 4-0 lead from the home league into that tie. And in the end, that is a very convincing performance over 2 legs against a decent team like Hammarby, and we are going to be making our way through to yet another Champions League playoff. That does mean that at the very worst, we will make the group stages of the Europa League. I believe we are going to be taking on Midtjylland. They did look like they were in quite a comfortable position there against Astana, and indeed they picked up a 2-0 win on the day and ended up winning 6-2 on aggregate. So that's what you got to look forward to in tomorrow's episode. That is a very interesting matchup after the results from the Europa League group stages a few years ago through the Champions League playoff, taking on Midtjylland from Denmark. And back in the inbox after that tie, winning 6-1 on aggregate, as we mentioned before. And indeed, we are taking on Midtjylland in a Champions League playoff tomorrow, currently finding themselves 8th in the Danish league, which is a little bit of a surprise, albeit they probably haven't played too many games in that competition, just the 4 games, but still not where you would expect the team like Midtjylland to be at that early stage of the season. And hopefully we can get a little bit of revenge on these guys after they somehow finished above us in the Europa League group a few seasons ago, after they picked up some quite unexpected points against Atletico Madrid. Because if we do have a look at our past meetings with Midtjylland, we actually didn't lose to them in that Europa League group. It was just those points that they did pick up against Atletico Madrid, which were enough for them to jump above us into second spot, with Lazio being the team who didn't fire in that very strong group of death that we did have back in the Europa League in the 2026-27 season. But that's what you got to look forward to in tomorrow's episode. Hopefully we've improved in terms of both our style and our players at the club since then. So hopefully we can make our way through to the Champions League for the second year in a row. But before we do wrap up today's episode, we are going to have a bit of a check-in on the Conference League as well. Just see how the other Icelandic teams have got on since we had a look halfway through the second qualifying round in yesterday's episode. So first off, having a look at how things did finish up in the second qualifying round. HK actually managing a draw in the second leg against the Romanian opposition, but in the end that 2-1 defeat that they suffered in the first leg of that tie does mean that yet again they get knocked out in the first round that they do enter Conference League qualifying, which is a little bit disappointing for a team who usually do finish second behind us in the league. But if we make our way down a little bit further, there is some much better news. For the first time in a long time, we actually got 2 teams into the third qualifying round of the Conference League. Akranes in the end picking up a very comfortable 5-1 win over their opposition from Kazakhstan. They won both legs as well. That should be quite useful for the coefficient. Finally, getting a little bit of help in that regard. And Valareykjavik winning the second leg of their tie against Maribor. That is a big win for those guys, and they also make their way through to the third qualifying round. And we are halfway through that third qualifying round, looking right about in the middle of this current page. Unfortunately, Akranes got a bit of a tough draw there, taking on Legia Warsaw of Poland. That is a team that we have taken on before in European qualifying. They do find themselves a goal behind at the halfway stage, but certainly not out of that one. Hopefully, they are still alive when we check in at the start of tomorrow's episode and we make our way down right towards the bottom here. Valareykjavik hold a 2-1 lead against Zoya of Ukraine. That could be massive for us. They have got a good little run of form going here, have Valareykjavik, and hopefully they can make their way through to that final playoff for the Conference League, having a lead halfway through that third qualifying round. So we are certainly getting a lot more help here from the other Icelandic teams than we have got in previous seasons from European qualifying. But that will do it for today's episode. A good win over Hammarby over 2 legs, and we have a bit of a grudge match coming up another Nordic Derby against Denmark's Midtjylland in tomorrow's episode. If you did enjoy today's one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. There should also be our youth intake coming up in tomorrow's episode. We'll have a quick look at the preview that we did get for that. It is exactly the same rating as what it came through in my inbox a few weeks ago. It should hopefully be a good intake, albeit we are taking this with a massive pinch of salt considering how poor our youth intakes have been in the save so far, but we should be getting that hopefully before the start of that first leg against Midtjylland in tomorrow's episode as well, hoping for finally a few good promising prospects to come through our nice youth facilities here at the club that we did upgrade not too long ago. But until tomorrow for that youth intake and that Champions League playoff against Midtjylland, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.